Om. Gayatri Mahamantra, with both hands upon your laps, left beneath the right. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Invocation of the Divine Master, Adi Guru Muni Ved Vyas Ji. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Gurudev Sakshat Par Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah, Akhand Mandalakaram, Vyaptam Yena Characharam, Tatpadam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah, Om Shri Guruve Namah. व्यासरूपेण आवाहयामि स्थापयामि ध्यायामि पूजयामि ततो नमस्कारं करोमि. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 9, verse number 22. It talks about the Lord conveying to the timeless Arjuna. Arjuna, the timeless one. The Lord conveys Arjuna, whosoever inseparably from me depends upon me shall cherish my protection, and I shall also be able to provide all needs of such a being. The needs in the light of spiritual growth, and at the same time, the worldly needs as well. But this has to be very carefully understood with the premonition in mind that in no way it conveys that whosoever shall relinquish its responsibility to put efforts shall be able to benefit out of such a promise by the Lord. No, it is not going to happen like that. There is always an accompaniment to such a pronouncement. And if we try to absorb the essence of such pronouncements devoid of the premonition which has to be observed, then they become meaningless. In no way such a pronouncement of looking after the needs and the spiritual growth of a being who is submitted inseparably to the Lord shall be cherished. Then what is the condition for that? It's always there. Avail a loan of 50 lakhs, avail a loan of so many lakhs, and at the bottom it is mentioned conditions apply. And conditions really apply. Devoid of conditions, no result shall ever fructify for such an exalted pronouncement. No doubt, the words of the Sloka, the verse, they assure, they promise. And it has been an experience not only by this ordinary teacher, but also by many learned ones in their lives. Since the times unknown, time and again we come across certain references which assure about the accomplishment of such a pronouncement. But one has to meet certain conditions before one could become eligible to benefit of such an pronouncement. And what are those conditions? The foremost condition is inseparably. Inseparable from whom? The Lord. One must understand that what is Lord? Is Lord only an idol with some graphical representation in the form of an image that resembles a human? Is Lord confined to that aspect? If that be so, then the definition which is given to us about the ultimate, the unmanifest, shall confront many challenges. When we talk about the term Lord, it also encompasses into it its sovereignty upon the entire creation, its presence into each and every infinitesimal particle of this universe, knower of all and everything, and which runs into the ambits of infinity. So, no ambit. If that be so, then we have to understand first the Lord. Now, Lord, which is not confined to an imagery that we give to ourselves in order to connect and associate with it. It is beyond that. The image of the Lord is there for our sake of comprehension to connect. But the image of the Lord in no way has to confine its existence, its truth, its reality to mere an imagery. It has to be all pervasive, everywhere, wherever imagination cannot dare to touch, it is there. So if Lord is that, in such a case, how do we please the Lord? How do we claim that we are inseparable from the Lord? Merely by placing the idol before, we say we are inseparable, we are one, Ananya. I don't think so. In any way, I am not comfortable. I am talking about not only my aspect, but apart from that, many more. I'm not comfortable to understand that the God or the Lord is merely available for the sake of certain appreciations, for the sake of certain propitiation, for the sake of worship which confines to mere certain words of praise in the forms of certain stuti and part. No, I really don't understand that. Having giving all due respect to the stuti, part, and puja, giving all due respect to that, acknowledging its importance without any criticism. But at the same time, it has to be understood that is it the only way to worship the Lord? I do understand that when you have to gather a proximity towards the Lord, these utterances, this incantation, propitiation certainly helps. But this is the only worship. This is something which cannot be accepted. That if you sing to the glory of the Lord will be pleased, and then it shall and shower upon you the boon to fulfill all that you need and also protect you. No, I cannot accept it on merely the terms of the words which have been deployed. There is something beyond, and the beyond is that the Lord has created His creation and manifested the human with a potential that equates it itself, equates, not in exact sense, but equates. Aham Brahmasmi is something which a horse, or for that matter, any other species, any other being, cannot dare to pronounce or achieve. It's the human alone. Even to the extent that we have studied even earlier that the scriptures mention that any other celestial abode, however exalted it may be, Swargaloka, heavens, wherever you go, for the final plunge, one has to manifest upon this mortal plane. And it's here from where you take the leap forward towards the final objective of emancipation. So, if that is so, then we must understand a human that equates to the potential of the Lord, having infinity in the brain, can scale up to the heights to become a Brahma by itself. Aham Brahmasmi. So hum. The Mahavakyas, they mean something and they convey that the human is vested with the potential. And a human vested with such a potential cannot be belittled, confined to merely sing the glory of the Lord and then seek its protection and also fulfillment of all needs. No, there is something more that remains to be understood. And what is that needs to be understood more? And that is that Lord has vested all of its powers, almost all of his powers to the human in order to act like the Lord. Act like the Lord. What does act like the Lord means? To fly, to offer boons to other people, etc. Let us not take that leap. Even that is also a capacity that comes to the great exalted ones, and I've witnessed it in my own Brahma Rishi. They can regulate the nature, the laws of the nature. They can even alter destinies, create, modify, reconstitute, whatever. They are potent enough. But there is something beyond which we must understand, and that is for the sake of the ordinary human. If you are able to cherish this life, live this life while working and serving for the humanity and the entire creation within your reach, you act as a representation to the Lord. When you're serving other species, when you're serving the nature, when you're serving other humans, you're acting in the capacity of the Lord itself. And in that case, one must then analyze where do I spend my most of the time and what is the kind of activity or dispensation that I'm engaged into. And automatically that shall translate into your own professional dispensation. You spend most of your time while dispensing your professional obligations. What do you mean to say? I mean to say that those 8 hours, 10 hours, or 12 hours that you spend in your professional dispensation render you with an opportunity in order to perform your yoga. Yoga in office, yoga on the chair, yoga through your decisions, yoga through your responses. The way you serve, it does not matter whether it is with profit or without profit. That carries no mention in Karma Yoga. Working with utmost sincerity, offering your 100% to serve any cause with profit or without profit is yoga. And that enables you become eligible, the rightful eligibility to claim. The right would be to seek, not claim, to seek the protection of the Lord and Lord as a provider to fulfill all your needs. Nothing short of that. Nothing short of that. In general, what we understand it, merely sing to the glory of the Lord and then wait for certain things to fall from nowhere. The Lord will come and will fulfill. Lord is not there who loves and who wants to promote sycophancy. Go on buttering me, singing my praise, I will protect you. Do you think God will be that belittled? No. Then there is something more beyond the words that must be understood. Otherwise, merely going by the words and carrying a sense of promiscuity, we defy the understanding bestowed by our great exalted master Adiguru Muni Vedvyas. So there has to be more which has to be given to the words. You say reading between lines, no, reading beyond lines even. Because each and every word must be put to test before we accept any understanding from the words. Yoga Kshem Vaham Aham. I am going to provide you all that you need in the light of your worldly and spiritual growth. And not only that, I am also going to protect you when you gather the eligibility to claim so. And how do you claim your eligibility? When inseparable of me means not my idol, not my image. Me means my existence. And where is my existence? Where do I exist? Char acharam, everywhere. Everywhere, it's there everywhere. If it is everywhere, then whatever I'm communicating, whatever I'm dispensing, executing, thinking, contemplating, decision making, everything is a way to serve God, irrespective whether it is with profit or without profit. There are so many people who claim to be working without profit, but at the same time, they act out of great promiscuity, so much of narrow mindedness. All of their decisions and their perceptions are exclusively colored with that. So, do you think that they are the rightful claimants to seek the protection from the Lord? No, they are not. And that is something which has to be understood. Inseparable to the Lord means inseparable to the objective of the Lord. An objective of the Lord to a human is to act on its behalf. Wherever you've been posted, whichever desk you are there upon, your desk is an office, a boardroom, a machine in the plant, a kitchen, a school, a bank, or wherever it is, wherever your seat is, through your breath, you have to worship the Lord by serving others. When that kind of a devotion, that kind of surrender comes, only then you become the rightful claimants to seek the protection of the Lord and nothing short of that. One should not deliberately befool oneself by merely saying that if I propitiate the name of the Lord, certain mantras alone, I shall be claimant to the protection and etc. No, Lord is not working there to seek to put you hold on some ransom. Okay, propitiate me, that's the ransom for your protection. It is not so. It's not so. It's not so. Unless rightfully understood, we will not be able to cherish the spirit of the Vedas and Upanishads. Otherwise, we will become belittled and devoid of entrepreneurial instincts. Krishna could have easily promised Arjuna, don't do anything, be at ease, just keep propitiating my name, and I shall, on your behalf, at your behest and on your behalf, I will fight. And within a second, everyone over here shall simply evaporate. I will release such an energy out of my hands, out of my eyes. All these Kauravas and their this magnanimity which they behold will be evaporated. They will get dissolved into the thin air. Arjuna, be at comfort. Take rest. Have some water. No. He was insisting upon him to act. Entire Bhagavad Gita is upon what? Based upon what? Come on, you act. Gandiv, you lift your responsibility, act upon your responsibility, act. You are my dearest one. But that does not mean that you stop acting, because in this mortal plane, you are the source through which the righteousness has to be manifested. So the righteousness can be manifested through you. I am there for all that which is beyond your control. Anything running beyond your control falls into my ambit. Do not absolve yourself from your necessary dispensations. Once rightfully understood about Yoga Kshem Vahamaham, this is a great pronouncement in Bhagavad Gita. Yoga Kshem Vahamaham. Kshem means protection. I am going to take charge of your protection and I shall be fulfilling all your needs, worldly or spiritual. This promise is not just like that. It's not a freebie. It's to whom? It's to them alone and to those alone or that alone who fulfill conditions to claim that. And fulfillment of conditions come through your breath, through the way you hold your perceptions, that is to serve this entire creation within your capacities. It's not that you have to be running around. within your capacities, by clearing any kind of a wrong understanding that I can only serve the creation, the humanity, when I serve without profit. No, with profit or without profit has nothing to do with that. Your dedication, sincerity has nothing to do with that. Forget that. Serve with dedication. People, when they draw lines, what they do is they become bereft of the essence which actually should manifest into their understanding. When they draw demarcations, if you work without profit, only then you will be serving the Lord. When you work with profit, you're not serving the Lord. This is a rubbish. People working without profit at times are more corrupt, and they create much nuisance for others' lives. Whereas people working for profit but dedicated with 100% devotion, withstanding their promises, they are serving the Lord far more. And they are the rightful claimants to seek protection of the Lord. I may not be able to show it on all the screens, but on few screens, I may be able to show the exact verse which is under our study at the moment. It's there before selected screens. Ananya chintayantah mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhuyuktanam yogakshemam vahami aham. As inseparable those that contemplate and worship me, to those that always remain in me, I provide and protect their well being, spiritual and worldly both. Although the word yoga confines to spiritual reference, but yet yoga also has a larger connotation, which means to enjoin, the enjoyment. So, therefore, let yoga also cover the worldly needs of a human. With this kind of an understanding, you, me, or anyone else is the rightful claimant. And it is this particular pronouncement has undergone the test of the time. Many exalted ones have mentioned, and even you must have experienced in your life. I don't know when and in where and in what form. People come to you, they try to help you. For no reason, they try to help you at times. And the requirement could be very vital or mundane. Irrespective of that, they come at the right time to serve you. People whom you do not know, there is nothing, even you can't remember the countenance of few of them. And yet they come and they get dissolved into thin air. And then later on, you recall that someone manifested as God to me at that point of time. That human was like a manifestation of the God. I don't know what divine inspiration prompted him or her to come and simply help me. And that was something very crucial. I forgot to even take the number, the address or the name. And then we say even at their back, which means ki I am not aware about them, even at their back at right now, whenever I recall that scene, recall that moment, I convey all my thanks to him or her, them. I convey my thanks to them through my Lord. Let good be done to them and shower your blissful presence upon them. And that's how we recollect certain occurrences that come under Yoga Kshema Vaham Aham. This is not blindfoldedness. One who embarks upon one's dispensation with absolute preparedness is not going to get blindfolded ever. When you start working in that form, you start experiencing it working for you like Nad. The seekers of Nad are able to listen to that primordial sound simultaneously running in parallel within your own skull, within your own head. Likewise, when you start working with absolute surrender and 100% effort, with all sincerity, simultaneously its grace manifests to work with you, to protect you, to fulfill your needs at that moment of time. And yes, it happens so. Yes, it happens so. Don't leave any room for doubts to be present over there. Believe it. Forget about the Lord. It's going to be there or not. Make yourself 100% available and go on doing it with one way ticket. It's not only irreversible, inseparable. I must enjoin those two words, inseparable to the objective and irreversible upon that objective. Shiv Sankalpa. The noble pursuits, not ignoble pursuits. It has to be noble pursuit. Your pursuit should be noble one, where either your own inner growth is an objective or through you, the service to others with entire dedication is the objective. Any objective will only, what is the litmus test for an objective, whether it is noble or ignoble? Either it is for your own inner growth, or it is for the service to the mankind or the creation, the nature at large. Any of these shall withstand the litmus test of being a noble pursuit, a noble objective. Those that embark upon noble objectives with 100% dedication, put all they have into them to serve that objective, then draw towards them the grace of the Lord, which comes to protect them and also fulfill their needs, worldly and spiritual as well. The unseen dimension then is bound to act. It's bound to act. Enough for the day. We have a classroom every second and last Sunday of the month at 9 a.m. in English, 7:30 in Hindi. Enough for the day. ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है.